Right then, it is Tuesday the 12th. As you know, from tomorrow, Wednesday, we're allowed to go fishing. So, I'm going to quickly, this is more of an FAQ really. People are always asking me what baits I use, what I use them for, this, that and the other. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly run through in little clips, little videos of the baits I use. The liquids, the additives, the ground baits, the pellets, even my own mix. So I'm going to start off first. This little section is going to be the ground bait. I'll quickly run through the ground baits I use and why I use them, just to give you a bit of an idea. Like I say, it's something that people are always asking me. They're always messaging me, oh, what do I use here and what's best for this and what's best for that. I can only say what's best for me and what I use and what works for me. So I'll start off with, now I use this from solely just for the barbell and the chub fishing. We've all seen it before. It's the Empanelli from Sonia Baits. That is pretty much just for my barbell mix really. I will use it just in feeders or boil it in. I will add things to it if I'm boiling it in. A few more pellets, a few casters, a bit of hemp. But the Empanelli is what I would use just solely for my retention, the barbell and chub. Right, so the second one is another Sonia Baits. This one is a worm fish meal. Now I've used it a couple of times for different things. Mainly, if I'm fishing for perch, I will use this. I mean, I've got, well, I'll tell you later on. The worm fish meal I will tend to use solely for the perch, for a simple reason. If I want to use a feeder for them, I can boil it up, I can spot it, I can spom it in the margins, I can chuck it in the margins, do whatever I want with this pretty much. And what I'll add to this, if I'm doing for the perch, is I will use a lot of chopped worm, a lot of chopped casters, a lot of maggots, and I'll even chop up a lot of king prawn in this particular mix if I'm fishing in the margins or I need to create an area. And I will fish with literally a running lead with a king prawn on the top of that. That's all I will use this fish meal worm for. And that's pretty much it really for that one. It's not. I've been using that now since it's pretty much come out. I mean, my local tackle shop I get all my ground baits from. Steve at Paddy Mangling, he has a good variety of ground baits, probably more than what more shops pretty much have, to be quite honest with you. So the next ground bait, this is the one that you've seen a lot of. I swear by this stuff. This is, to me, the only ground bait that I will ever use for roach, and it is the Super Crack Roach from Van der Nine. Now you've seen me use this on all my roach videos. I've had good sessions on roach, but be little uns or even big 2-pounders. I've always used this as a spod mix. A lot of my ground baits, if I'm fishing for roach or even bream or tench, a lot of the ground baits that I use, I will use as a spod mix. I do use them, I will keep a bit to one side and I will have it for the feeders if I want to use a feeder. Capping, if I'm using a lot of chopped worm in a feeder, just to cap the ends off. But mainly, most of my ground baits go out into the water as a spod mix to put a nice carpet on the floor. This particular one, this Super Crack Roach, I add an additive to it, which you would have seen me again use, and it's the special, same again, Van der Nine, same company. It's for the roach. It's very, very, very aniseedy. I tell you what it is, I even put that in my maggots when I'm using the maggot feeders for the roach. So if I'm, like when I was at Linear back in, I think it was August, was it, no, October, sorry, fishing for big roach, I had a couple of pounders and a few 1-pounders and lots of little ones. A couple of pints of maggots, I'll put a load of this stuff in the night before, let them mix it up into it, let them take the smell on, and then obviously when you're fishing during the day and the nights and stuff, you can keep it in, makes them smell nice, and it's also an attraction, isn't it? But same again, I will put a bit into my ground bait if I want to give it a bit more of an aniseedy smell. But this Super Crack Roach is very, very good. I can't really rate that as much as, it's probably the best ground bait that I've ever used, to be quite honest. It is a very good ground bait. I'm waxing lyrical about it because it is a very good ground bait. The second, well, the fourth one, which I bought as a trial, this was back in, I think it was November time when I got it, because I went to do a bit of winter rud fishing at a venue, and it's not a big venue, but there was some nice 2 to 3 pound rud in there. And same again, I went to put ground bait out as a spod mix with a lot of hemp and corn, even riser pellets I put in this for the rud, because the rud are a mid-water feeder. And it's this one, it's Super Cup. It's merely like a silverfish. So in Van der Nine, it's a silverfish ground bait. And to be honest with you, so I didn't catch that when I went fishing, but it's not as sweet smelling as a Super Crack for Roach, but it's probably a very good ground bait, but I've not really caught nothing on it yet, so I can't really, you know, this is a new one. I'll probably use it this summer when I go to my new ticket water, my new club water. I will be using that solely for the silverfish that are in there and the rod, so I can only let you know about that in time, because like I said, I've not really done much with it. This is my only bag I've ever bought, so that's that one. So the second, well, the fifth one that I use solely for the tension bream, I mean, I've been using that, well, I don't really tell people what works and what doesn't, but what I'm going to tell you is I have a ground bait here that I mix myself, and it's this one. Now this is very, very fishy, very, very, got a lot of pellet in it, small pellet, 2mm pellet. All I'm going to say is the base mix of this is the fantastic Hinders Mitts Blitz. Now I buy 5 kilo of that, and I also buy a couple of kilo of other bags of different stuff, which you can buy separately from tackle shops, and I mix it all into one. And this bucket here is roughly, I'll probably get 1.5 of these at a time when I mix it. So I'm getting down to, I've probably got a quarter of a bucket left of this particular mix, because I've not ordered my bait yet, due to the reason that we've all been stuck inside for the last 8 weeks. So what I've done, I've just kept it, and I've been using bits at a time, because this is just from my bream and tench. So say again, I'll spom it out, I'll add stuff to it, I'll spom it, I'll even use it in PVA bags. I will use it pretty much any way you can think of this, but it's mainly for my tension bream during the spring, summer, going on to autumn. Obviously my baiting changes through the winter. I will use a bit of this, but not a lot, because obviously it's very fishy, it's very oily, so I will not use that much in the winter. I'll use more hemp and pellet, like a carp pellet, something very low oiled, but I'll add different liquids to it to make it stinkier for the bream and what have you through the winter months. So that's my ground baits pretty much. You know, it's horses for courses. People can do it. People do it different ways, but to be quite honest with you, I've done this now for the last 4 years. I've always used the hemp and hallie. This last 3 years I've been using this particular mix, and I've had some really good results on that, as you've seen through some of the videos with the tench fishing. But I'm not going to tell you what else I put in this. Some things are going to have to be kept a secret, and this is one of them. But the Super Crack Roach, the wormfish meal, I tell you, they're very good ground baits of them. They are absolutely brilliant. And like I say, this Super Cup, I'll probably use it this summertime when I'm doing some rud fishing. So I'll keep you updated with that through either Facebook on my like page or through the blogs. So, I've got another little additive here that I use, and that's the bream one, caramel. It's called caramel, is this one, Van der Nine. It's very caramelly. I mean, put it in your maggots, your ground bait. It's a bit like the additive that I use for the Roach, pretty much. It's very strong, very pungent, very good. So that's my ground bait section done, and see you in a bit.